Alright, in this video, this is video number 1 in the binary clock series. Make sure you have checked out the introduction video so that you can look and see actually how to read this binary clock. The first video in this short series will be us focusing on the global variables. So let's go ahead and have a look. So this will be a component, and when we are fully finished with this, it will be published in my free components folder. For now, I'm going to come down here and cut the test to on. Now when I cut test on, the time is going to stop updating, and whatever we see here is whatever I have my test number set to. In this case we see 12:59:59. I think putting things in test mode, especially with things talking about time or battery levels, I've used test modes quite often in my tutorials so that I can see how things will look without having to wait for that actual number to reach whatever it's trying to reach. But before we dive into all that, let's go through each one of these individually. The circle size, so that's just a basic number global. The horizontal padding, that's going to squish them together or separate them farther apart. This will be used in a stack group. The vertical padding, we can bring the circles closer together or farther apart vertically. Again, that'll be used in a stack group as well. The spacer, that's going to be the space between the hours, the minutes, and the seconds. We can make that a little bit wider or a little bit thinner. All of these are number globals. Coming on down, we have the text size. That's just the text that we can see down here with the time, or the text over here to the right that shows the 1248. I discussed the 1248 back in the intro video. The hours, minutes, seconds, and off colors, this is what adjusts the hours, the minutes, the seconds, and then when it's off, when something's not lit up, we have this gray color here. Now by all means you could change this to whatever you want and it should update on the fly. Now that's not exactly appealing, but I do want you to see the off colors will have that color whenever it's not lit up. Coming on down now, we have the test. The test is what we can cut on and off. When test is off, we will actually show the time, and that's going to be dependent upon whether you select 24-hour or not. Right now I have 24 hours set to off. If I cut it on, you're not going to see that much of a difference, because when it's 9 o'clock in the morning, 24-hour time is going to be 0900 hours. Cutting that test back on. One thing maybe you did notice, if I cut the 24-hour on and off, whether I'm in test mode or not, with test mode on and 24-hour on, we have this additional circle over here, and I did discuss that back in the intro. Cutting 24-hour off, we have no need for a 2 circle in this first digit of our hour. Coming down further with on-off switches, we can show the time. That will remove it or show it. We can show the 1248 over here to the right. We can hide that or show it. All of these are on-off switches. And since I have test on, let's talk about some of the more important pieces for the testing. Now the hour is what I'm going to be using to read the actual hour that it may be, whether it be 12-hour or 24-hour, or potentially seeing the test hour. Now what I want you to notice right now, I have 24-hour cut off. So if we come down here and look, I have an adjust 12 and adjust 24. Right now with the test mode on, as I come in here and adjust this, I want you to notice the hour is changing and these lights are updating. This is what's allowing me to test without having to wait for a particular point in time. Now I've adjusted all of this to where all these should be working correctly. And for this number global here and here, those are actually being used in this text global. Now one thing to note, the adjust 12 number global, the minimum is 1 and the maximum is 12. For the adjust 24, the minimum is 0 and the maximum is 23. Because technically when you hit 23:59 in 24-hour time, some people will say, hey, it goes up to 2400 hours, but from what I've read, a lot of them just go back to 0. But anyway, these two tests right here, notice the minute text globals coming up next too. These two are getting used in this text global. Now, this is the longest of the codes. All the other codes that we'll be doing in this series are short. So when we're adjusting 12 or adjusting 24, those two number globals, if we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, that's a single digit. So I want to throw a 0 in front of that hour if I have just one digit. That's what this first part of the code does. So this first piece, we're looking to see if test is on, and if 24 hours is on, and if that adjust 24-hour number global is less than 10. So if all of these are true, we're going to throw a 0 in front of this number because we're going to have a single digit. But there's other times we could have a single digit. Test could be on, 24 hours could be off, and if the 24 hours is off, then we're talking about the adjust the 12-hour one. So we have adjust 24, that's a number global. Then we have adjust 12, that's a number global. But again, we're testing to see if that is less than 10. So if it is, it's a single digit, we're going to throw a 0 in front of it. Now we have to consider times when our test is off. So if the test is off, 24 hours is on, and DF capital H. DF capital H is going to return a 0 through 23. So if any of those numbers in DF capital H, if they're less than 10, we want to throw a 0 in front of it. And then this last one down here, GV test is off, 24 hours is off, and now I'm looking at DF lowercase h. Sure, we could have used the DF double lowercase h here for padding, but I was on a roll here when I created this, so DFH is going to return a 1 through 12 with no padding. So again, if we're getting a single digit for this hour, if it's less than 10, a single digit, we want to put a 0 in front of it. So notice I have a 1, but I have a 0 in front of it in this particular case. Now, if none of these conditions are met, we're not going to put a 0 in front of it, and basically this is going to do nothing for us. Now to actually display the times. So we want to round, because when we start throwing number globals into a code, sometimes you will return a decimal, like a 0.0. So the MU round will get rid of the decimal. And now we're looking to see if the test is on, if 24 hours is on, then we want to return the GV adjust 24 because our test is on. So if this condition's not met, we're not going to return this global. Then we want to look and see, okay, is just the test on? So if the test is on, but we're not running this, that must mean the 24-hour is off. So that's when we want to be testing our 12-hour number global. Well, okay, so we're talking about test being on and 24-hour being on. Just the test being on, meaning 24 hours is off. Well, we do have some more conditions too. So if these two pieces here don't run all the way up to here, then that means either we have the 24-hour on with the test off, or we have both the test off and the 24-hour off. So this is testing to see if the 24 hours on. If it is and we are not running any of this other junk, that means our test is off, but yet we want to see 24-hour time. So we want to return DF capital H. And then finally, if that condition's not met, then our test must still be off. Our 24 hours is off. So all we want to return here is DF lowercase h. That's the 12-hour time. Again, that's the craziest code out of all of these, but yeah, the testing mode is a great piece to have. That way you can actually see things, how they will look, instead of you having to wait for that actual time. I hope that makes sense. So now take note, I have 24-hour off, I have test on, so this is when I would want to come in here and adjust my 12-hour time. And notice as I'm adjusting this number, we see things updating. Even when we go to 10, now we have 1 and nothing lit up. There's 11, there's 12. Everything works perfect in test mode. Now if I come up here and I cut the 24-hour time on, this is going to change. We see 0, 0. Well, why do we see 0, 0? I can come down here and adjust my 24-hour time. So now we got 1, 2, 3, and I'm just going to click through these very quickly, but everything should be working. And even when we hit 20, we're going to see that second light up here. And then we have 21, 22, 23. Perfect. Now for minutes, it's very similar, but the code is shorter because minutes are going to remain the same regardless of whether we're dealing with 12-hour time or 24-hour time. So if the test is on and now we have an adjust minutes number global, if that is less than 10, meaning it's one digit, we want to return a 0. Or if GV test is off and the actual minutes, DF lowercase m, this is going to return the minutes with no padding. So if it's less than 10, that means we have a single digit. We want to throw a 0 in front of it. Now you may be wondering, why did I not use DFMM? That starts to mess with our number global when we start cycling back and forth between the tests. This method here works perfectly. It will throw a 0 in front of the number if either adjust minutes is less than 10 or the DFM is less than 10. But again, that depends on whether the test is on or whether the test is off. So once we've addressed that, then we want to do a round, and if test is on, we want to return the adjust minutes number global. If the test is off, we want to actually return the number of minutes that we are in our particular time. So there's your minutes. And now since my test is still on, as I adjust my minutes, notice we are changing the minutes up here. And I can go all the way down to 0, and I'm just going to skip over these, and just to show you that's what 0 minutes looks like. So again, testing things out will really help you see things before they actually happen. And you guessed it, seconds is going to be very similar to the minutes. So if test is on and that GV adjust seconds number global, if it's less than 10, we want to throw a 0 in front of it. Or if GV test is off and the actual seconds with no padding, if that's less than 10, we want to throw a 0 in front of it. Notice this looks very, very similar to the minutes. And then we're doing the round again to get rid of the decimals. And if the test is on, we want to return that number global. If the test is off, we want to return the actual seconds. And notice here I can adjust my seconds just like I did with the minutes a few minutes ago. And then what I find too, back when I did the intro video, I was trying to show you how we could go back and forth between 12 hours and 24 hours and how I could show you the testing was working. And I had this issue with it automatically updating. Well, one thing I did to simplify the code, one of many things, is that I created a text global for time. And what I'm using here is I'm using the GV hour. Now remember, this can be one of 4 things. It can be 12 hour or 24 hour with test mode on or off. That's what GV hour can be. GV minute can be one of 2 things, either the actual minutes or our test minutes, that GV adjust M, ADJM. Same thing for seconds. It can be one of 2 things, either the actual seconds or our test seconds. But by me having this, I don't know what caused it, but this allows me to cut the 24-hour on and off, and notice it is updating the colors. I can go back and forth. I mean, I can do so many things, and everything updates like it should. But yeah, I think that is it for the globals here. What we'll do in part 2 is we'll actually start creating this thing over in the items, this component. We have everything, and inside of everything we have a bottom piece. That's the time down here at the bottom. Then we also have the clock and the 1248. This is where we will make our H1, our H2, M1, M2, S1, S2. A lot of things will get repeated here, especially with the minutes and the seconds. So just some little tips coming up. We will be replacing a lot of text in our code. But the code I showed you 4 hours, that was the longest one. I promise we won't see anything remotely as close to that crazy calendar component I did a while back. And there you have it, part 1 to the binary clock, making sure we have all of these globals situated. If you have a question, leave a comment below. And that's it for this video. I hope it helped.